Hi, I'm Robert Shelby, Chief of Police for Shelby Township, and welcome to Straight Talk. With us today is Deputy Chief Jason Schmittler. Jason, welcome to the program.
Good morning, Chief.
Thank you. Back a few weeks ago, we had our third or fourth or fifth annual award ceremony, whatever you want to call it, because we missed a few years with Corona, and it was at Palazzo Grande. We had a great night. What were your thoughts on the event?
It's a fantastic family night. It's a time for our staff to get together, and we celebrate our accomplishments throughout the year.
How many people do you think were in attendance?
We had at least 250 in attendance.
And we invite every single member of our department, including all the civilians.
Correct.
They're allowed to bring their families, and it's a great celebration of our police department. Would you agree with that?
Oh, totally. It's a time for us to prop up our staff and give them a pat on the back for a job well done.
I've been in law enforcement for over 35 years now. A few years ago, I was president of the Southeast Chiefs Association, so I talked to our colleagues from all over the Southeast area, and I know of no department that does it like we do. And I've been a couple of the other award ceremonies to check things out, and while they're very nice and professional, they're not all out like ours are. And it's impressive for our young people to see and their families to see how we do things in Shelby Township. Would you agree?
It certainly is. It's a time for us to share with our family, and they get an inside look at what we do, and it goes a long way.
My favorite thing that I see is when the guys bring their families. Our young officers are bringing their young wives or their girlfriends or whatever to the event, and it's what a great way to let their family members know and their children how much we value them and support them, and not to believe the narrative that law enforcement is a questionable profession or whatever, but law enforcement is an honorable and noble profession, and our officers are respected and loved out here in Shelby Township. Would you agree with that?
100%. My favorite takeaway from that night was meeting the families, greeting them at the door, and talking with them throughout the evening, and meeting their children and engaging.
I agree, and that was my favorite part too. And luckily, we had our own Nick Monticelli to MC the event, and Nick did an incredible job. And that took some of the responsibilities away from us that we normally have, and that gave us time to be able to socialize with the families, meet people. And I agree with you. That was my favorite part of the night, talking to some of the moms, some of the wives, some of the children, and everything. And it's probably one of the best things we've done at our police department, and it's all because we want to recognize our young officers.
Chief, I'm inspired. I listen to Nick read those awards, and we forget sometimes. We forget some of those things that happened over the past year or two. And I'm very proud of our staff, everybody involved, and I couldn't be any happier.
I agree with you. We go all out. Stacy's done a great job over here at Shelby TV. She put together a package to show our audience, and we want them to have a glimpse of what our award ceremony is all about. So let's take it away to Stacy's package.
Quick, mark! Hey! Detail, hold! Present, earth!
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming?
Well, we're really here to honor all the police officers. They've done a tremendous job. Obviously, in the last 2 to 3 years, it's been very tough with everything going on, and it's just nice to see everybody here in one room. We haven't done this now in 2 years, but it's a banquet to honor our police department, dispatchers, sworn officers, and administrative staff as well. They do an awesome job in protecting us, and you know, we are one of the safest townships/cities in the country, and it's because of them. So this is really their night.
Each year, the Shelby Township Police highlights some of the outstanding work of their department. And this year's awards ceremony featured recognitions from both 2020 and 2021 as COVID forced the cancellation of last year's event.
In my eyes, law enforcement is one of the most noblest professions on earth, and I'll never get that out of my head. So don't believe anything you hear on CNN or MSNBC about us. Okay.
The 2020 award recipients began with a plethora of recognitions, including commendation awards and Chief's Coin of Excellence.
Shelby Township Police and Fire.
ComTech Janice Hobbs received the 2020 Non-Sworn Employee of the Year. Shelby Township's ComTechs are highly skilled professionals who truly are the first responder you will speak to when calling 911.
I personally get from this job helping people. I mean, that was my ultimate goal, and I think I've achieved that.
The 2020 Officer of the Year went to Andrew Bohm.
I chose law enforcement kind of for the same reasons. I wanted to have a job where I wasn't sitting at a desk all day and just to get out on people person. So I like talking to people, helping people, and catching a few bad guys is fun too.
The 2020 Detective of the Year was presented to Amir Vila. Detective Vila is an undercover detective, therefore we will not show his face.
He's been selected for his tenacity in investigating cases and his leadership abilities in the field. He cares about our residents, he cares about our police department, about the individuals, the young guys that work here, looking out for them, and he's a true superstar.
The 2020 awards transitioned nicely into 2021 as Detective Sergeant Terrence Hogan held the dubious distinction of being recognized for both years as Command Officer of the Year.
It's just a profession that I'm proud to be involved in. I mean, it has its ups and downs, but all the things that we accomplish is just, sometimes it's overwhelming. I mean, it truly is a satisfying career.
The 2021 Detective of the Year is Kevin Triorgi. Detective Triorgi works with the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration in Detroit, therefore we are unable to show his face.
Kevin is our DEA task force officer. He's made significant seizures and incredible arrests of major and violent criminals over the past year and since he's been in the DEA, and that's one of the big part of the reasons why he was selected.
And the 2021 Officer of the Year award goes to Nicholas Briggs. With under 5 years in the department, this officer has truly made his mark.
Every shift I've worked on has just been incredible. I work with a lot of guys that I've known for years and years, like 10, 15 years. So we have a lot of fun on our shifts. Usually we're the shift everyone wants to go to, I would say. But yeah, it's been great. The people of Shelby Township are great. It's a great community to work for.
Wendy Barth has an important job in the department and was presented with the Non-Sworn Employee of the Year.
I really love being a part of the Shelby Township Police Department. Everyone here is such a team and they've all been very supportive of me. I've learned so much about the criminal justice system, and as property clerk, I really see it as an opportunity to use my organizational skills to help bring justice.
The evening wrapped up with another batch of recognitions for going above and beyond for our community. These recognitions, once again, consisted of commendations, which are the second highest form of recognition within the department. Congratulations to all those recognized who exemplify the core values of the department: preparedness, pride, professionalism, and teamwork.
A few years ago, talking with Stacy Bell from Shelby TV, we decided to make videos instead of reading off the awards for our big award winners, our Officer of the Year, our Commander of the Year, our Detective of the Year, and the Civilian of the Year award. So what we would do is I'd sit down with Stacy, I'd tell about that person without reading the script, what I thought of them and why they won the award for the year. And then Stacy would interview them herself and then put some B-roll footage, and we'd make a 3 to 5 minute video of that person, and we'd show it at the awards ceremony. And I've got to tell you, it's probably one of the most best things we've done for our award ceremony. It enhances it greatly. It brings out great pride in the officer and their families to see them getting recognized in this way. Jay, what did you think of that? And we had one young man, Sergeant Hogan, who won the award 2 years in a row.
He's top shelf.
Yeah, I noticed that Amir Villa, our Detective of the Year, him and his family looked like they were dressed by Barney's in New York. The little girls had fur coats on, matching fur coats, and just to see his family, how proud they were of him. And he was one of our winners of the Detective of the Year award. What did that touch you when you saw that, and when you see how proud these guys are of this?
Absolutely. I spent a lot of time talking to him and his family and his young daughters, and they couldn't have been any prouder. And they were glowing.
Yeah, I loved it. And then young man Nicholas Briggs won Police Officer of the Year. He had his mom there, his grandpa, a bunch of family friends. He had a table full. I stopped by and said hello to everybody. He has got a young wife too, and I just seeing their pride, and that's one of our pillars of our police department, pride. It's very important to me. It touches me in ways probably people wouldn't understand.
It sends a strong message to our officers. You can work for our department for 3 years, and he won Officer of the Year. That speaks about his talent and his commitment to the Shelby Township.
One of the things we explain to all the people in the audience is how the people are selected for the big awards. They have to get nominated by their peers, their colleagues, maybe their commanders, and the commanders all have to write up somebody, turn them in, and then the executive staff, along with Captain Barnard and us, you and I, we go through all the nominations and we do what's right. Not necessarily do we each get our way. Like, for instance, I wanted one specific Officer of the Year I thought should get it, and you guys said no. And I agreed. Nicholas Briggs was our Officer of the Year, period. And I think I love the way we do it. We negotiate it. It's diplomatic and a democracy, with the three of us having our votes.
Nobody will ever know what happens behind those closed doors. It's a battle.
Yeah, I agree.
And it should be that way.
I agree. But one thing we don't do is play favoritism. That's something I'm very proud of. I mean, we've given awards away to people that they earn their awards. It's not because we like them or anything like that. So, you agree with that?
Yes, no, it's not a trophy for everybody.
Yeah, I agree. But anyways, it was a great night for our police department, something we're extremely proud to do. And we have a lot of great things going on at our police department right now. Now, let's go back a few weeks ago, actually probably around a month or so ago, we had some promotions at our police department, and then we had some new hires. And we had a ceremony. I think we had 4 new police officers. We promoted Patrick Barnard to captain. He's running operations now. He works directly for you now, right?
Yes, he does.
How's he doing?
Fantastic. Pat's totally committed to the department. He does a fantastic job with our detective bureau, patrol, communications. He's a busy guy. He's
a new executive, and you're in the role of captain. It's busy. You have all the responsibilities on your plate, and he's got a ton of people that report directly to him. And are you satisfied with the way he's run everything right now?
I'm very satisfied. He's on top of everything. We work together, and we all have the same vision.
I love it. We have new Lieutenant Larry Rice. How's Larry doing?
Larry's he's stellar.
20-year veteran?
Yes.
20-year veteran now?
He brings a lot of experience to the table. He's worked with that shift for a long time. He's going to do great.
I can't keep track of all our new sergeants we had. I know Adam Jensen was promoted. Derek Stansberry was promoted. Charles Johnson. And then Dan Camerzell, correct?
Correct.
How are the young sergeants doing?
We're sending them to training, but you know what? They bring a lot of things to the table. Dan Camerzell with his DB experience. Charles Johnson with his DB experience. Everybody has a niche, and Sergeant Stanberry with his traffic and reconstructionist and motor carrier background. Everybody's bringing different things to the table, and that's what we need. We need a mixture of talent to get better.
I've always been accused by my colleagues, personal friends of mine that are in the business, that my leadership style is authentic. I don't lead like anyone else. I lead the way I do, and how I lead is through people. People are my strength. That's what I look for. Personalities, characteristics, work ethic, whatever it may be. I'm not a bean counter. Would you agree with that or not?
You put people where you need them.
Yeah, absolutely, but I'm not sitting there with a calculator trying to figure things out. I look at somebody can ask me right away, and I might not have looked at their stats, but I know what value that they're adding to their department, as you do too. I mean, you're even closer to the action than I am. But what I see, I want to tell you, I noticed Dan Camerzell, a new sergeant, okay? Former military man, I believe he was in the Army, and he's running our training division now, our internal training division. And I saw him in a recent training, the way he carries himself and his professionalism, his experience, skill. I'm so proud of him. I want to go up and give him a big hug and tell him, Dan, you're amazing. And I don't know him that well. I didn't know if he'd get off me, Chief, and push me away or whatever. But I see a guy like that. Then I look at a guy like Derek Stansberry, who's also a young sergeant. And you mentioned before that he handles our accident reconstruction, all our fatal accidents he's in charge of. He handles a very complicated tool called our Faro machine, very expensive machine he uses for all his accident work. And I just see that, and he's also on our honor guard, our tactical response unit. I believe he's on some other, something else too. Here's a guy who's a Swiss Army knife, but he's an expert at anything he does. And he has so much pride every day when he's in our police department. When I see these guys, and Charles Johnson, like you said before, with his expertise and how much they care, I mean, we're set up for success for a long time. Our department has with supervisors like this. Would you agree with that?
Right. And you talk about Dan. All three of those sergeants that were just promoted, they're all humble.
Yeah.
They're all very modest, and they come to work every day and they do their work. They simply don't show up, and doing the bare minimum doesn't cut it. And they set the standard very high.
We have one more sergeant that was promoted I want to touch on. His name is Adam Jensen. Adam is a lieutenant colonel in the United States Army. He's currently assigned right now, assigned away from our police department, serving our country. We're very proud of him. And what Adam brings to the table, he's highly intelligent. He's a leader of men. I think he's got over 1,000 people under his command. And Adam is somebody that I call and ask for advice. Now, he's not here every day, but when I need something and I know that I have to go to a higher brain power, I give him a call, and he's always got a great answer for me. So he lives in town here, and he's definitely an asset to our police department. Would you agree with that?
I agree with that.
Yeah. Let's take a look at our promotion ceremony and our new hire ceremony. Then when we return, we'll discuss our new officers.
The Shelby Township Police Department recently welcomed family and friends to a swearing-in and promotion ceremony.
Getting promoted in the police department is not an easy thing. I would argue that it's harder to make sergeant than it is to make chief. I can tell you that right now.
And while hiring the right people may be key to the success of the department, their promotions are even more critical.
I state your name. Do solemnly swear. That I will support.
The ceremony began with the promotion of Pat Barnard as he climbed the ranks from lieutenant to captain.
This is probably, there's been a few great moments in our department since I've been here, and this is one of them. Seeing you take over command. Pat's going to be running all of our operations. That's Detective Bureau, our patrol unit, which is obviously our backbone of our department, our tactical response unit. Everything is going to be under this man right here. So.
Well, I've worked for about 6 or 7 administrations, been around for a while, so seeing where our department was to what it is now, and in the last 7 years since our current administration took over, and you can just see how we've been pushed into the department that we are now. We feel fantastic about it, and that's all to the chief and his administration on the improvements, how we grew, and the department that we are today.
And we're very excited to get him into our lieutenant rank. So
Larry Rice was promoted to lieutenant. Chief was quick to remind him that he predicted this years ago.
Do you remember that or not? Okay, and here we are, right? Just remember that, okay?
I state your name. Do solemnly swear.
So let me tell you about our lieutenants. First rule, and I'm dead serious about this, you're not one of the boys anymore, okay? Period. Our lieutenants are our first level of management. They're the ones that are in charge of our shifts. They run our detective bureaus, and they are critical to the success of our police department.
We are constantly growing. We are getting better and better every day. The training, the equipment, the officers, we have come so far in the last 20 years. I can't wait to see where we're going to head off to.
Sergeant.
In addition, 4 officers were promoted to sergeant.
Sergeant Charles Johnson, Sergeant Adam Jensen, Sergeant Dan Camerzell, and Sergeant Derek Stansberry.
And because family is so valued at the department, they played an important role in the ceremony.
So who do you have to pin your badge today?
My son Matt.
Pinning the police badge on an individual who has earned it is a long-standing law enforcement community tradition. There are 2 times that a badge is presented to an officer. The first time is upon graduating from the police academy, and the second is upon being promoted. Both times represent significant career accomplishments. Following the promotion ceremony, the department also welcomed 4 new hires.
Today, I'm proud to tell you that we're budgeted for 82 sworn officers, a gigantic increase. I think it's like 35%, and that was without raising the millage or tax dollars. Not $1 has been raised by the Board of Trustees to fund our police department.
It was important for these rookies to see firsthand the promotion process. The new hires form a younger department overall, making the promotion aspect even more important, not only for the sake of experience, but also to demonstrate to young officers that they too can advance through the ranks.
They each have their own skill set, but together they make a great team. And, you know, we are living in a time right now where many cities are defunding and what have you. We're going the other way. We're hiring more officers, we're buying more equipment, and we're adding a lot more training so that our officers can do the job that they're expected to do in harm's way when that need arises.
Recently, we swore in 4 brand new police officers, and they actually had their ceremony. We did hire 1 officer right after that who hasn't had his ceremony yet, so we have 5 new officers in training right now. One of them is Officer Jason Renaud. He comes from Texas. He was a police officer down there for 5 years. His wife got transferred up here to her job, and then he found our department. We were in contact with him for several months. When we interviewed him right away, I knew this is somebody we wanted to hire immediately. We put hardcore press to get him hired. You worked with him personally.
I did.
You want to tell a little bit about Jason and his background?
Jason was in the military. He spent 5 years down at his department. He's got Detective Bureau experience, and he's come from a big department down there. So his background fits in well with what we're doing now. We have many young officers on our department. They need to get the reps. So Officer Renaud, what he brings to the table is his experience. He's going to give our young officers the reps that they need to perform.
Okay. Michael Nye.
He brings maturity. He was a cadet for us. He did an outstanding job, and he was a leader in his academy.
Yes.
So now that he started his field training, he's not having any difficulties. He's flying through his training now. He'll be on the road within the next couple of weeks solo, and he's a hard worker. He's got the respect.
Married father, maturity is definitely the word that comes to my mind also.
Yes, sir.
Travis Percola.
Young athlete. He's a leader. He's not afraid. He just doesn't sit back. He puts himself out there. He separates himself from the others.
I think he's busy recruiting for our department now too, isn't he? He's bringing in guys.
I've received many phone calls from him about others, and you know what? I love it.
Officer Darko Stovanowski.
He's unique. Darko was a soccer player. Darko went to, he grew up in Macomb Township. Darko worked for another police department as a cadet, and we're able to steal him away, and we're lucky for it. I've heard from several of our commanders how well he's doing on the road. He's going to be exceptional, and I'm glad we have him.
Now, an officer you won't see at the promotion ceremony, but we brought him in right after. He's already been sworn. He's on the road, moving forward. Is Officer Joshua Gepper. What do you think about Josh?
He brings 3 years from Nashville, Metro Nashville. Big department, very busy. He's a local kid. He grew up here in Shelby Township. He was an intern with us prior. He knew our background. And first of the year, we connected. I knew that he was coming back to Michigan, and we went after him hard. And he's flying through his training. He's doing an excellent job, and I got my sights on him.
As our deputy chief, you have a ton of responsibility. One of the things you do specifically is you deal with the Oakland Police Academy. That's where we send our recruits. You deal with the director over there, Dave Cece. He's a strategic partner of ours. How are things going in the police academy, and what do we have going right now?
We have 3 recruits over there right now. We're looking at a couple others who are going through the testing process. Director Cece has our back, and he's sending us the best of the best. And we're slowly filtering through them, and I'm hoping to make another couple hires from it.
One thing I want to touch on, there's 50 student police officers right now. Shelby Township has 3, as you mentioned. You want to tell our audience who the class president is and what department they're from?
Shelby Ray, who was a dispatcher in Utica. She was a cadet with us, and she was just elected president for her class.
Our cadet program, what's going on with it right now? How many are you looking at to put in the police academy, and What do you think of the quality of people we have in our cadet program?
So by August, we're looking to at least put 3 to 5 through the academy, the next academy, and it's very competitive at this point. We are pushing these young individuals to come to work every day, work hard, absorb as much as they can. We're putting them on the road with our field training officers. We're constantly vetting them and talking about them. You sit in those talks. We're looking to hire 1 cadet at this time, but during the summer we'll be hiring another probably half dozen.
I think it was about 2 years ago. I've been a chief now for a little over 87 months, and it was probably about 2 years ago that I realized of all the stuff that we do, the most important thing that I will do personally is that final word on who we're going to hire, okay? You know, the person that comes in and wants to get hired, they have to go through a bunch of different steps, different interview panels, whatever, but to get in the door, actually you and I have to sit and interview that person and make the final decision on them, right? And what I decided one night, I think I was laying in bed, is that the most important thing we will do, and this is our legacy, mine and your legacy, is who we hire and the type of people with the quality. And what we decided together is we're not going to bring in anybody that's not going to add value to our police department. So just bringing somebody to fill a number, or they might be a decent guy or they live in town, that's not going to cut anymore. What value are you going to bring? Are you satisfied that the people we're bringing in the door are adding value, and what feedback are you getting on that?
I'm very satisfied, and the comments from our command staff at the last meeting speaks for itself.
Yeah.
We're hitting that goal, but we're not done yet. You got your foot on the gas and you don't have a break, and we're not going to stop until we hit our 82 officers. And we're not just going to hire anybody, we're going to hire the right people for it.
The good news is we're not getting as many applicants as we used to back in the day. I mean, like I said, you've been around 29 years, I'm 35, and we don't have the volume of applicants, but what we're getting is, I hate to say this, but almost like a higher quality candidate. These kids are committed, they're young, they're educated, they're highly intelligent, and I know they're going to add value to our department one day, and I couldn't be happier with the quality of people we're getting.
The difference is we used to pull people from all over the place. Now they're coming to us, and they're more selective in what they're choosing. These young officers can go anywhere, but now they're choosing to come here, so we can be selective and choose the right people.
We're constantly getting approached by our residents, letters, phone calls, emails, thanking us for the professionalism that our officers demonstrate on a daily basis, something we're extremely proud of. If you see one of our officers in a restaurant or out on the streets, please stop and say hello. They love that, and they're all approachable, and we couldn't be prouder of them and the relationship we have with you, our residents, and our business owners. Thank you for watching Straight Talk. We'll see you next month.